The girls are back in town. Hey, friends, here we are. Sydney, it's been a long time.
It has been a long time, too long.
And Allie, it's been a long time too.
It has been.
Welcome back to the show. And this is our very, very first episode of the School of Sacred Wisdom. The three of us have been working on something really, really special, and we can't wait to launch it. It's our School of Sacred Wisdom, and it's so much deeper than just like learning how to teach yoga or even so much deeper than the yogic philosophy. We have a legitimate master of anatomy right here. She's gonna be diving into anatomy, physiology, and so much more. I mean, Allie, what is your envision of where you want to take your teaching in this school?
So I've been an athletic trainer for about 10 years now. My biggest goal is injury prevention because it's important to know anatomy, physiology, and all of the systems. But the reason you need to know it is so that you, A, do no harm, even though you will never have to take the Hippocratic Oath. But it's important to know what goes into yoga so you know how to protect different aspects of the body
Yes.
and help them build whatever they need to build.
What would you say is like the biggest injury from yoga?
I would say probably hamstring strains. A lot of people doing a lot of bending from the wrong areas, a lot of low back strains as well.
Yeah, I would say chaturanga shoulder stuff too, because most people don't have the core strength or the tricep bicep strength to like properly do a chaturanga.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, it's been like ingrained in the yogic society that like knees, chest, chin is like, I hate this word, but like a pussy part of yoga.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you can't properly do a chaturanga, you're setting yourself up for injury, lower back injury. If you're not activating your core, your back gets dumped. I mean, the amount of times that a plank posture is either sunken where the hips are down and up, or it's up and the hips are like bumped up almost like a down dog. And it's just like, ugh. So I think injury prevention is amazing. And you also have this like really rad app that you're going to be using as well.
Yes, visible body. So you can dissect different parts in a 3D model online. So you can see how the muscles move. You can program different movements and see what muscles go into it. You can also bring in like what nerve innervates that, what all of the different systems are doing, including like the endocrine system. So you can combine movement with what parts of the endocrine system that inhibits or that makes produce more hormones.
We were just talking about hormones too,
Mhm.
and how no one knows much about the endocrine system.
Mhm.
So will we touch a little bit on that, Allie?
In the 200, we'll touch a little bit on that. In the 300, we'll kind of deep dive because a lot of the population that our yoga teachers will be working with are going to be people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, which is when hormones start changing. So you're going to have a lot of, typically 40, 50-year-old women coming to you like, I want to lose weight. I want to tone up. It's like, okay, let's get a baseline of what your hormones are doing because like I have hypothyroidism. And so it's really hard for me to lose weight because, the thyroid is what controls your metabolism mostly. There's other things that go into it. But if my thyroid isn't producing thyroid stimulating hormones, then it doesn't matter what I do. My body's not, it's going to go into that like starvation mode of hold on to everything instead of that nice balance of consuming and burning calories.
Yeah. And you've had an endocrine.
I did. I had the opposite. So I had Graves' disease, which is hyperthyroidism. So my what did they call it? What's it? T something when it's tested.
So
Mine was
be a
basically
T3, T4. Okay.
So my T3, yours is normally supposed to work in like a 1 or a 2. Mine was working at an 8 when I was diagnosed, and I was like 9 years old.
Oh my God.
It is like not, it wasn't a common thing that you would see in a 9-year-old child. It's typically a disease that you see like a 40-year-old woman develop. So it was pretty odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have they found, you don't have to share this, but
Yeah.
usually when there's one underlying more like autoimmune disease, there's a lot more.
Yeah. So I have been in remission from that disease since I was 16.
Wow.
And
That's awesome.
I've never had any other signs of autoimmune disease. I have a sibling that has vitiligo
Okay.
and on top of some other autoimmune disorders. So I know that it runs in the family, but I don't know, staying not inflamed and keeping calm, doing yoga has probably kept a
Yeah.
lot of that at bay,
Yeah,
I would
truly,
think.
though.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what makes our school so unique is that you'll get this huge range of Western topics all the way to very occult Eastern topics. And we have a master in world religions and tarot and so many other things. So
All
what are you
the
going to be?
strange and the occult. We were just talking about how I'm like, what do we call it?
Defense Against the Dark
Yeah.
Arts.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
Basically Snape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer the werewolf guy though.
Professor Lupin.
I prefer him because you're way cooler than him. Not, I mean, Professor Snape ended up being cool in the end, but I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about anatomy. I learned it in massage school and I learned it in all of my teacher trainings, but it's just it's a very confusing topic. And so I'm excited to like dive deep into it. Obviously, everything that you have to offer, I'm so excited. I love tarot, but I don't know very much about it. So
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be really cool and unique to weave into classes. And I also think too, like we named it the School of Sacred Wisdom because you don't have to have a desire to want to teach yoga to ever facilitate an actual movement, breathwork, meditation practice, but you want to dive deeper into these practices and philosophies of yoga and of all these other modalities that we love so much. And you want to deepen yourself as just like a literal student of this sacred wisdom. And this school is for you. That's like who we're building it for. Obviously, you'll learn how to put flows together. We'll learn prenatal, postnatal with Sid. I'm sure you'll go into injury prevention yoga, sports medicine or yoga for athletes, yin, restorative, nidra, pranayama, kundalini. We'll cover mostly all modalities. We'll go into teens and special populations, but really like the heart of this is actually so much deeper than that. It's diving into these ancient wisdoms that have been around since the dawn of time. And that's what'll be really cool is linking kind of your Western masterness with her Eastern masterness and like all of the random things that I'm trained in will be really great to kind of dip your toes in. And then we'll also be offering a 300-hour version as well. And if you don't know anything about the yoga world, your 200 hours kind of like your bachelor's and your 300 hours kind of like your doctorate. So together they make a 500 hour. So there's not a 500-hour training. You could get a 200 and a 300-hour training. Together they make a 500. So there's not like a 200, 300 and a 500-hour offering. It's 2, 3 that then make a 500. And then you just continue to educate yourself after that. And you don't like I have taken so many trainings, but I'm not like a 5,000-hour teacher. I'm still technically considered a 500-hour teacher. As you start to build these additional trainings, which that will be in our future as well, having continuing ed and other schools branching off, like an anatomy school, a tarot school, an Ayurveda school. We have big, huge plans for this entire container to hold. And I think that you'll find a little piece of what Allie was talking about earlier before we started recording was like the whole idea of the school is to get people curious about themselves, about the world, and about everything around us on this planet and cosmically beyond. And that's really our goal is to like bring this wisdom to people in an accurate, truthful container. I think there's a lot of fluff out there.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to bring like tangible things to this kind of intangible world that we're in. So what is the one thing that you're most excited to share in the school?
I don't love how a lot of yogis and yoga schools think that yoga is the only thing that you need in your life. Yoga is a tool, right? Like
Mhm.
I've been deep diving into your sculpt classes and yoga classes, but I still do CrossFit
Mhm.
because I need that more violent outlet.
Yeah.
Whereas like with sculpt, every movement is so controlled. And I've got a lot of anger, a lot of anger in my body. And sometimes while we're doing these slow, controlled, repetitive movements, I hate you.
Yeah.
I hate you so strongly. And I want to be anywhere but there. And like with CrossFit, yes, the movements are a little bit more um explosive and dynamic, so you have to learn how to control that so you don't injure yourself, but also it's like you don't have to think about it. Like you just do it. Whereas like during sculpt, I have so much time to sit and think about how much I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly, it's great for me and I keep doing it, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Whereas like with other forms of exercise, it's just as beneficial in a different way.
Totally.
So that's what I'd like to bring is like yoga's a tool, CrossFit's a tool, like physical therapy is a tool. And you
Massage
need all of
therapy
it.
is
Massage
what you need
therapy. Yeah.
Well, I think that's it's like this holistic approach to everything, because I was just talking to my dad the other day. He was a huge athlete and now his body is just destroyed from his years of being an athlete. And he said, like, if I had yoga when I was playing football, when I was running track, how much better I would be at that sport and how much better my body would be now. And
Yep.
so I think you're so right. It's like Ashtanga yoga, that's the only thing that you should do.
Yes.
And don't do anything else. Or Vinyasa yoga, it's the only thing that you should do. And it's like, my hope for the school too is to open your eyes that there's so many more. I love that you said tools or boons, you could call them too, if we're like looking at it in this goddess sense. It's like there's so many things and there's space for all of them, and you should be doing as many things as you're curious and interested in, and how they all can come together to create this like really beautiful version of who you are. And you don't have to be just one thing. You can integrate all of these things. And how amazing would it be to bring yoga into a CrossFit? I mean, how much better would those athletes be if they had a little bit of yoga? And how much better would yogis be if you had a little taste of CrossFit? Like, that's so important to cross train. And that's kind of like this school is like a cross trained school. There's so many different things that we'll be introducing you to, that hopefully then you get so curious about that, then you start to go down these rabbit holes. And then I hope when you leave our school too, is that you realize that the classroom isn't inside this beautifully decorated studio space. The classroom is life itself. You'd be sitting next to someone on an airplane and show them yoga nidra. You could be sitting next to someone at a bar and explain the koshas to them. Like, your classroom is the entire world, and you get to be this kind of beacon of light, sharing this wisdom that is so familiar to us. Because when we start to talk about it and learn about it, it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Because it's like, we know all of this wisdom is inside of us. We just have to reawaken it and remember it. And that, I think, is what's going to be so special about what you have to offer, is like this really interesting take on how the world began all the way up to where it's at.
Right.
So what are you most excited to teach about?
I think it's very similar to what you're saying, but just in a different sense, being able to pull from all different cultures, all different religions, and then really, when you cross-examine, like in my years of studying world religions, what you end up finding out is that inevitably all of these things are talking about the same concepts in different languages, different names, different deities, but they're all the same energy. And so I think that, going into something like yoga, that's especially in the West, that can be missing a lot. You know, people don't have that true link to where the practice really came from. And then going back even further, you can see like how this practice is very useful in your life, no matter where you are in, you know.
Yeah. I'm excited to share like more on Ayurveda and yoga in like a natural sense. If you look at the poses, all of the poses are named after animals. Lizard's lunge, Malasana frog squat, like pigeon pose. And it's like these sages and these yogis that were developing these asanas were looking to the world around them to like help pull ourselves back into the animal world, because we're animals. And if we allow ourselves to like live in alignment with nature, we realize that we actually aren't as different as we all seem to be.
Right, and those animals are representation of inherent divinity as well. You know, like all of those animals have an association with a certain deity, right? And it's just showing, you know, more unison, more ability to see the divine in absolutely everything around you.
Yeah. And awaken the energies. I mean, mudra work is so awesome. And you can be like, okay, this is really silly. I'm holding my hands in this specific way, but it's like activating an energy, this like primal ancient energy that's inside of you. We use postures and mudras to help activate those energies within us. And then we have to understand, like, okay, how do we hold this posture properly anatomically so those energies can be activated and then move through the body. So what our plan is to get the on-demand portion of it launched by the spring equinox. The really unique thing about our school is that it'll be offered completely virtually. Sydney and I are moms. Allie owns her own business and she's incredibly busy. And so we understand that going to a teacher training on a Saturday and a Sunday once a month is actually pretty challenging. I mean, for me, it's really hard to do that. I know you just got out of a training and it's very tough. And so to be able to have something that's virtual where anybody from anywhere can have access to these teachings is really important to us. And so we'll have the on-demand portion built by spring equinox, meaning when you sign up for training, you'll be able to start immediately. We'll start our virtual training, like live in real time virtual training in the fall equinox. So that gives you, if you sign up in the spring, it'll give you a full 6 months to move through the on-demand content. And then we'll dive into our virtual live sessions in the fall, which will be really perfect because it's the time to get cozy inside. It's the dark portion of the year, and that's a really beautiful time to reflect and study and learn. And so we have this on-demand option, we have this virtual option, so it's incredibly flexible. I also love having an option for anybody to be able to access it. So if finances, time, resources is something that you are struggling with, reach out to us. We never want this wisdom to be unavailable to anybody. And so we have resources that we can help. I mean, Sydney and I have gotten help with our astrology school. And so, you know, we understand and we want this training to be for anybody to deepen their all layers of themselves, all 5 koshas. We want to penetrate all of them and have it be available to any body at all. So hopefully this gets your wheels turning. And if there's, you know, if you're hearing the whisper, the call of something different, this might be the pathway for you. So, Allie, close us off with one thing that you want to share. Sydney, I'm going to have you do it too. And then I will, hate to put you on the spot, but what is one thing that you want to leave these listeners with that might spark an interest in potential? Well, actually, this is a better question. What drew you to want to teach yoga or even dive into these really esoteric Western topics, like how did you get drawn to it? Because someone might be also drawn to it, but they don't realize that they are.
Yeah, so I got interested in yoga because I'm 32 and like still young, but I can feel the difference in my body. So I had decided it was time to pivot from performance-based fitness more towards graceful aging. And a lot of times you see as people age, they stop moving, they stop doing things because they're scared of falling. It's like, no, that's the opposite of what you should be doing. You should be able to do those things in a safe way, in a safe environment, but you need to keep doing. Like my dad called me one day and he's like, how do I stop from losing my balance? And I wanted to say yoga, but I stopped myself and I'm like, Tai Chi, do Tai Chi because you're holding your balance a lot longer than in specific yoga poses, right? And so I've got him like balancing on one leg while he brushes his teeth.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
right, just like whatever he's doing, I'm like, do it on one leg, but make sure you do it equally. And so he's continuing to train that balance so he doesn't lose it as he ages. And so I wanted to find more ways where we can incorporate graceful aging into people's day-to-day lives and not make it a specific exercise or workout.
Oh,
Like,
I love that.
Yes.
Something that you can integrate into your daily routine. Very
Exactly.
Ayurvedic.
Yeah.
Becomes a lifestyle rather than a chore.
mhm.
I love that.
Yeah.
What got you into it, Sid? Besides my fabulous, fabulous teaching.
Definitely that as well. I think like, I don't know, it just takes me back to what we talked about in like one of the first podcasts I had with you and like why I got involved in tarot. It's the same reason I got brought to yoga as well, you know. I think ever since I was very young, I had a very inherent understanding that divinity is all around us, and I was hell-bent on finding out everything I could about it. So I've spent with my head, you know, fully down the occultist rabbit hole and studying all world religions, you know, for mostly the entirety of my life. And I think that it's everything that I ever needed to try to understand like why I was here and why I keep going forward. So I think for people that are interested in it, you just kind of have to be a seeker, a wanting seeker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I got into yoga because I was a like debilitating drug addict and I was completely fucking my life up from like every area. And I found yoga in rehab and then just kept going back. I mean, it really did become like my drug of choice, but it's a healthy samskara rather than an unhealthy samskara. And in yoga, samskara means same scar or habitual pattern. We have very healthy ones, but we have very unhealthy ones. And yoga was a way for me to get off of all of my Western medications. I was able to manage my anxiety, depression, and I was diagnosed with unipolar disorder. And I was able to, for the last 12 years now, been able to solely use yoga, meditation, strength to help keep myself in balance. And so that's my hope, is to help people find balance. I feel like that's how all of us are. It's like that is where I want people to feel comfortable in themselves. And I want people to feel, when we feel comfortable in ourselves, then we have a more open and accepting container for the whole world. So we start with ourselves and then that starts to ripple out into the world. And that's how we slowly begin to change this society that we're living in that's very sick. And I know in my heart that these practices can help heal. But like Allie said, you know, it's going to a vinyasa class isn't the answer, the only answer. You need to have all of these other areas of your life addressed to holistically find balance. And so that's my hope for the school, is that we have all of these different experts and modalities to help you understand yourself better. When you understand yourself better, then you love better, you eat better, you live better. And then hopefully that ripples out into everyone that you touch and then everyone that they touch. And then it just turns into this big, huge momentum shift. I think we're fucking ready for it.
I agree.
and Sydney might be more educated on this because you're very good with like years and numbers and stuff, but from my understanding, the year 2026 is all about new beginnings. Like
Yeah.
the 2025 was like
Yeah,
shedding, like
and
year
that
of the
makes sense.
snake, it's like
I had to
shedding.
take a second because I was adding the numbers in my head. So 2026 gets to 10, so that's 1, right? You have 1 and 0, but it's 1. So that's a brand new beginning.
Yeah, I love that. Ready for it. So if you want to start something new in 2026, come to our school, be a part of our community. We are normal chicks that live normal lives that want to make life extraordinary. And that's what my hope for the school is, that you can realize that's like the essence of Tantra. It's like every single thing that we do is divinity in motion, moving through us, every single thing. And even if it's bad, there's still like a divine aspect to it. And I think these teachings and philosophies and movement and breath are a way to move through whatever it is that you're experiencing. And so 2026, make it be the year that you do something for yourself. And if you have any questions, as like Sydney and I have always said in our Soul Arcana episodes, it's like actually the root of all of this is our desire to build a community of like-minded kindred spirits that are safe to explore and be curious about anything at all that life has to offer. And you're in this like container where you're able to stay rooted yet expand all at the same time.
Yeah.
This beautiful spanda, this pulsation of life. So thanks, ladies. This will be the first of many, many episodes to come, but stay tuned, my friends. We love you all. Ladies. Nice.